Just when you thought Venice had the monopoly on sinking cities, Mexico City steps up to the plate. The ground beneath this city is quite literally giving way, sinking at a staggering rate of 20 inches a year. But what's causing this geological drama? In this video, we will get into the science, history, and potential solutions surrounding Mexico City's sinking dilemma. From ancient civilizations to modern-day challenges, stay tuned to discover the shocking secrets behind it all. Mexico City, the capital of Mexico, is a place of contrasts. Tucked up in the expansive central Mexican hills, Mexico City holds a historically and geographically significant position. Situated in the Valley of Mexico and encircled by magnificent mountain ranges, this expansive metropolis is a monument to the strength of human society in the face of natural disasters. Mexico City's unfortunate reality is that it is indeed sinking, primarily due to a geological phenomenon. But before discussing that, let's discuss a bit of the city's history, as it also adds up to its sinking. Mexico City's history dates back to ancient times, predating the arrival of European settlers. Long ago, the Valley of Mexico was the center of mighty Mesoamerican civilizations. Among them were the Aztecs, who built their capital, Tenochtitlan, on an island in Lake Texcoco. Tenochtitlan thrived as a hub of trade, culture, and art, boasting a complex system of canals, floating gardens, and impressive pyramids, until the Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century. The Spanish conquest was an important turning point in the history of Mexico City, with the conquistadors destroying Tenochtitlan and constructing their own colonial capital on its remains. Mexico City evolved into a vibrant cosmopolitan center throughout the centuries, fusing European architectural styles with indigenous customs, creating a diverse melting pot of cultures and individuals. Yet Mexico City has faced distinctive challenges due to its geographical location. The city was initially built on the shores of Lake Texcoco, a shallow lake that once covered much of the Valley of Mexico. Over the centuries, as the population grew and urbanization expanded, the water demand increased exponentially. Constructed on what used to be a lake bed, the city is at risk of subsidence due to over-extraction of groundwater. As water is pumped out from the underground aquifers, the soil collapses into the void left behind. It's like pulling out a Jenga block. The surrounding blocks shift to fill the space. But how did it all happen? Back in the days of the Aztecs, Mexico City was built on a system of lakes surrounded by mountains. In the initial stages, the Aztecs built Mexico City on the shores of Lake Texcoco to take advantage of the natural resources in the area. The Aztecs were very smart when they built canals for farming and shipping, taking advantage of the lake's wealth. But when the Spanish conquistadors came, the city's history changed dramatically. The Spanish drained Lake Texcoco to stop flooding and make cities bigger, but they did something terrible that changed the city's scenery forever. This action seemed like a good idea at the time, but it set off a chain of events still bothering Mexico City today. When the lake dried up, it left clay-rich dirt that is likely to sink and cause earthquakes. Because of this, the city has to deal with the constant threat of sinking ground and the growing threat of earthquakes, which is a harsh reality for the people who live there. Moreover, the Aztecs created artificial islands, known as chinampas, by piling up soil and vegetation. Over time, these islands merged to form the foundation of the city. As the population grew and urbanization expanded, the water demand increased dramatically. Residents and industries began pumping water from the aquifers beneath the city at unsustainable rates to meet this demand. This excessive extraction caused the groundwater levels to drop significantly, leading to the compaction and subsidence of the underlying soil layers. Moreover, subsidence has also resulted in a range of issues, such as building tilting, infrastructure cracking, and a higher risk of flooding. The issue is worsened by the depletion of nearby lakes and wetlands due to urban expansion and farming. Without these water bodies, the clay-rich soil is at risk of drying out and shrinking, resulting in increased subsidence. Also, it's crucial to understand that subsidence differs from subduction, a geological process involving the Earth's crust being pulled beneath tectonic plates, leading to earthquakes. Now, subsidence isn't unique to Mexico City. Other cities like Jakarta, Venice, Bangkok, and Houston are also experiencing sinking ground due to groundwater extraction. However, Mexico City faces a particular challenge because its foundations are less stable compared to other cities. Moreover, Mexico City's position as a seismic hotspot leaves it vulnerable to earthquakes, leading to catastrophic outcomes seen over the years. Despite attempts to strengthen buildings and enhance emergency readiness, the city remains under the constant shadow of the looming earthquake threat. Not only this, but the city's climate is also responsible for its sinking somewhere. Even though it is located very high, Mexico City has a subtropical highland climate that is cooler than the hot weather in lower-lying areas. Unfortunately, the city's geography, like its valley-like terrain, worsens environmental problems like air pollution, which is made worse by smog. So how fast is Mexico City sinking? Since 1950, when reliable measurements started being recorded, Mexico City has been sinking at a steady rate of 20 inches per year. That's more than 118 feet in just the past 73 years. And if we were to go back in time, who knows how much the city has sunk since its earliest days? Some estimates suggest it could be over 328 feet by now. Why does this sinking spell trouble? Well, imagine if your house sank half a meter yearly. It wouldn't take long for things to get pretty dicey. Buildings start to tilt, roads crack, and infrastructure gets all wonky. It's a recipe for disaster. And that's not what we can let happen that easily. Why? Because Mexico City is the country's financial hub. It's home to the Mexican Stock Exchange and the headquarters of many large international companies, such as American Mobil, Telmex, and Grupo Bimbo. It has much economic power because it makes up about 16% of the country's GDP. To give you an idea of how big this is, think about New York City. It makes up about 8% of the US GDP, which is pretty big, but not as big as Mexico City. Also, Mexico City is politically critical because it is the capital and houses important federal institutions, including the President's Mansion, Congress, and the Supreme Court. Many feel that the city gets too much government support and funding compared to other parts of the nation, and this concentration of power has prompted some to voice their disapproval. Mexico City is a cultural jewel, since it is Mexico's cultural and artistic hub. The country's cultural discourse is shaped by its thriving cultural landscape, characterized by many theaters, museums, and galleries. Public opinion and popular culture are greatly influenced by national media channels, most of which are situated in cities. It can be challenging for local traditions to obtain federal or worldwide recognition when a concentration of cultures overshadows regional cultures and identities. So, we can't just sit back and watch Mexico City sink into oblivion. We've got to take action. Whether shoring up buildings, improving drainage systems, or finding innovative solutions to reduce groundwater extraction, something's got to give. Because, let's face it, Mexico City might be sinking, but it's not going down without a fight. And with a little bit of effort and a whole lot of determination, we can help keep this vibrant city afloat for generations to come.